Luckily, the button didn't work first time, so all of that got
God
missed.
damn it!
Hello, everybody. I hope everyone is doing well.
I want everyone to know that Kate keeps ruining my fun. All of my fun.
Oh, dear. But yes, it is Cabot, Cove, Chaps. Say hello, Nightbringer.
Assless Chaps. Also, hello.
Assless Chaps. Okay.
I think that's the first time I actually bothered to say hello rather than recklessly abandon.
I don't know. Maybe. I don't think anyone's keeping track these days, right? I know I'm not.
Oh, I've got someone that's paying as much attention to this as some guys pay attention to football and soccer. Did you know, like, every time you say they're marking that down. Every time you complain about my icon moving around, they write it down. They've got all the stats.
Okay,
Did you not know this?
No. And
Can you believe me?
no, of course I don't believe you. But to that imaginary person, get a life. And that's coming from me.
Yeah,
Right. I sit in a shed all day and I don't see people, and I'm telling you to get a life. That's when you know.
Well, they're also like a Reddit moderator, so.
Oh, really? Oh, fuck them then. I no longer care. I'm no longer interested.
Right.
Oh, but we are here to talk about Murder, She Wrote. Do you know, I don't even know what episode number this is. 16?
Tough Guys Don't Die.
Tough Guys Don't Die. Now, I believe this is the introduction of the first character we're going to see a lot of.
Okay, so I'm not actually convinced on that because if you actually look at Harry McGraw's character page on the wiki, it lists episodes he's in, but if I go to those episodes, I'm not seeing him. Like Murder to a Jazz Beat, it says he's in, but no.
He definitely wasn't in that. I'm pretty sure McGraw
you're right.
Is the one that they tried to do when Angela Lansbury takes a season off at some point in the future. He does a lot of episodes, and I'm pretty sure they tried to do his own series.
They did. I was misreading how they had this started. They have the episode names, and only in bold orange do they have it if the character's on it.
Oh, okay,
so I was
gotcha.
Just stupid.
But I don't know how I feel about this episode.
I will say the difficult detective kind of none of it worked. It kept like yo-yoing between I'll work with you to I'm pissed off at you. I'll work with you, I'm pissed off at you and want you out of my way. And like the suggestion that she offers to get the audio checked by a forensic audio person.
Yeah.
She gives it as a very nice, polite suggestion. And he takes it as you're trying to run my entire investigation. Like, plenty of times in the episode, before that and after, he's like, to some extent, he says, split up. You do your thing, I'll do mine, towards this very same direction.
Yes.
Why would having that be analyzed for audio? He could have said, hey, I don't think that's important. I think that's a waste of time. But if you want to pursue that with the tapes,
I think it's because, much like with the detective in the painting one, when they're trying to show that this character is begrudgingly starting to respect Jessica Fletcher, right?
In the painting episode,
yes,
it felt like it was progressive. It was, here's how he is. Here's a character improvement.
Yes.
He likes her.
Yes.
This one felt like it was yo-yoing.
I think the problem with this one is, I think they were trying. I'm going to suggest that they probably knew they wanted to do a McGraw series with this episode, or possibly came to that conclusion halfway through the episode. Because this is the most we've seen a character who isn't Jessica Fletcher fleshed out.
Yeah, absolutely.
In any of the episodes. And I think it was a constant battle between which character are you trying to show the arc of in this character. Because Jessica Fletcher, honestly, was kind of meh
she
in
was
this
not front and center.
episode, right? Whereas McGraw, now again, you're. I mean, to say they layered on the film noir, hard-boiled private detective stuff from McGraw a little thick
Yeah.
is an understatement, right? He's basically trying to be Humphrey Bogart.
Yeah. It wasn't for another 2 years until they actually had the pilot for the Law and Harry McGraw TV show.
Yeah,
And this episode was 85.
I'm still going to suggest, because again, they seem to flesh him out too much as a character and put Jessica too much in the passenger seat for most of this.
Right.
For it not to have been an idea. But
even his character page is really fleshed out on the wiki because of how much.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I think he does basically become the main star for a whole season of Murder, She Wrote. Pretty much.
Not from what I'm seeing on the when he shows up, but
yeah,
I could be very, very wrong.
So I think they were trying to do a number of things. Right, one, he's meant to be the hard-boiled detective. He takes the law into his own hands, and it's very much an eye for an eye type attitude, right? And I think it's almost so. Whereas in the painting episode, the detective didn't. Well, it wasn't. The reason we get the idea that you get he doesn't like about Jessica Fletcher is that she's probably going to be a terrible detective. Right? And there's a little bit of this in this one as well. But I think in this one, you're also meant to get the idea that McGraw probably just doesn't respect women as a whole, especially in the private eye field.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because they do make some comments about the build and they. Oh, yeah. Do you remember that scene? Apparently, I'm not doing words today.
And but yeah, because my problem was I didn't particularly like the character of Harry McGraw from beginning to end. Even at the end, when he's warmed up to Jessica Fletcher, he has grown a little bit in that he is willing to let somebody go to justice. But even that kind of seems a little bit forced and a little bit easy. Because the murderer ends up being someone, basically one of his work colleagues.
Right. And someone who won't have the money to actually fight this.
Yeah, and I don't believe McGraw would have killed him anyway without Jessica Fletcher being involved.
That's a good question. Though I do think he genuinely meant it if he gets off scot-free, that he's going to die.
Oh yes, no, I did. I can kind of see that as well. But yeah,
I don't know.
I don't believe he would have killed him because again, there's this when they thought it was the builder guy,
right?
And I quite liked the resolution to that side story. If I'm honest, I thought that was kind of funny and sweet because they really did go against stereotype from that one. But yeah, I don't know. I did not like the character of Harry McGraw, and I did not like the 3 different cases.
Yeah, that felt. It was supposed to give you 3 different. Strong.
It was interesting, and yeah, it's meant to give you the 3 red herrings, the 3 different, and with each case there were multiple different people who could have been suspects in them.
Right.
But again, this is a 45-minute show, right?
Right.
You can't really develop that into a thing, and then
this could have made it as a 2-parter.
I think it would have. I think they could have made it better as a 2-parter. Yes, and then I'm trying to think what the 3rd case was. I can remember 2. Oh, wait, the builder guy was the 3rd one, which always just seemed to take a little bit of a back seat. But the one about the magazine and the feminist and the standing for the Senate, but she couldn't do it because she'd had an abortion in the past, seemed a little bit too politically motivated for me.
Politically motivated for the show, politically motivated for the action.
For the show. Like, I think they were making a very... I agreed with the point they were trying to make, which is the fact that she had an abortion should not have stopped her in any way being able to stand for office, right? I agreed with the point they were trying to make, but it just seemed to come really out of nowhere and be incredibly heavy-handed.
That's fair. I will say, once abortion was approved in the states, we didn't have initially any major anti-abortion campaigns. There's a reason that kind of just passed in the Supreme Court. But after that,
Yeah.
evangelicals realized they could use this as a wedge issue, get everyone claiming about their Christianity, even as they hire a convicted felon.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So this would have been around that time when those conversations were getting bigger.
Well, that's what I mean. That's why I think it was very politically motivated for the time.
Yeah.
To kind of put that in there, and it did just kind of feel like an aside.
Yeah.
And
I didn't fully get what about that situation was supposed to be. What was Archie going to do that? I didn't get it.
So he was blackmailing the woman.
He wasn't blackmailing her before Archie.
No.
Blackmails her after.
Who's Archie? The murderer. Who's Archie?
Archie's the dead one.
No. The dead one wasn't going to do anything with it.
So
he was killed because he'd found out the information. Obviously, the murderer, the guy who worked for McGraw and Miles,
Kravitz,
found that information. He was the one who was going to blackmail the woman. And for some reason, he clearly thought the only way he could do that was by killing the other PI. Now, there's a logical inconsistency, a kind of leap of faith there. I'm assuming that the guy, I can't remember the name of the guy, the murderer.
Kravitz, Ray Kravitz.
But I'm assuming Ray assumed that if he blackmailed her while Miles was still alive, Miles would have worked out who it was. So he had to be dead.
So I'm here on the wiki,
mm-hmm.
and it says Ray Kravitz is a PI and Priscilla Daniels' former lover.
Whose former lover?
The woman, the feminist magazine.
I don't believe that is correct.
I
definitely didn't get that from the episode.
I never caught that either. Never.
But he would have known that anyway, so why would he have needed the evidence and the file, which he was using to blackmail her?
Per the wiki, it was to stop Archie Miles from revealing that as a campaign thing. But again, Priscilla's the one who found it, or who hired him.
Yeah, it wasn't to stop Miles revealing it, because Miles was only going to send it to her.
Right.
I don't think whoever wrote the wiki understood this episode, or possibly even watched it.
Yeah, but I still didn't fully understand. You think Kravitz killed Miles to be able to blackmail?
Ray killed Miles to be able to blackmail the woman, yes. Is how the story of the episode unfolds. Now, again, and again, the only reason I can think that he did that is because if he blackmailed the woman with Miles still being alive, Miles would have worked out who the blackmailer was.
Right.
In a way that McGraw wouldn't, because he wasn't there at the time and didn't know too much about the case.
But it also felt like she wasn't going to pay the blackmail.
She wasn't going to pay.
He's not going to get the money.
But I don't think he knew that when he murdered, because I think the murder of Miles happens and then the blackmail happens.
Yes, that is the time frame.
And then she decides she's not going to pay because she's not going to run for the Senate seat. She gives up on that. And they also make the big political statement that she's going to tell her story in the magazine. She's going to come clean and say she did have an abortion and make it public.
I missed that bit, but I can see where I missed that in the episode.
Because that was kind of her kind of big, I guess, because she's meant to be a feminist. That was her big feminist moment, and she's going to own what she did.
And that was also the closing of that arc.
Yeah, and start to add
well.
to add her thing to the conversation, which was fair enough. But no, I did not get. No, are you sure Ray Kravitz is the detective? Because it's the ex-husband who was the father of the child. Because they say that quite clearly.
I thought the guy standing with her when...
Yes, that is the ex-husband.
The blackmail.
That's the ex-husband.
No, that is the husband. Well, he's someone's ex-husband, but he got Priscilla pregnant when he was still
Yes.
married to someone else.
Oh, I thought he was the ex-husband of her as well. Okay, that I got wrong because I thought there was someone she was meant to be in love with who she wasn't. I thought she was married to somebody else.
She does have a different ex-husband.
Because there's the scene at the start of her story where she's met at the airport by some guy who I'm pretty sure was not the guy who she was standing next to her at the end. And I thought that was meant to be her husband. But I thought
it was like we just need to rewatch the fucking episode.
But I know, I was mainly at the guy who wrote the wiki, and then here we are going, I don't really understand either. But no,
it was all over the place.
Because I thought that was part of the reason you were giving that she may have killed before the abortion thing came. Is that they found out that she was still having sex with her ex-husband or ex-lover.
Okay. The wiki does agree with you that his name is Gavin Daniels, that he was the ex-husband of Priscilla. This whole episode... I do think part of the issue really was trying to fit this entire overarching story into one 45-minute episode and also try and build McGraw's character.
I agree. And all of the stories, apart from the Builder one, which is the one we haven't talked about yet, all of the stories just ended so abruptly and stupidly, right?
I did not like the ending of the...
Yeah, the decades-old murder case.
That was fucking weak.
Right, and that's just, the judge finds her, gives her a lift and tells the whole story. Like, that was just stupid.
Yeah.
But I guess that was the reason. And again, I wonder if this, like, someone had written a McGraw script and then they decided to force Jessica Fletcher into a story that already existed. Because it felt like such a weird door to force her into. Like, it made sense that she'd be... Well, no, I don't even think it would make sense because she's never written true crime before. So I don't know why she would suddenly be interested in writing a true crime book about an old criminal case. Was problem number one with that, because she writes fiction.
Yeah, and she could be investigating it to try and add something to one of her fictions to sculpt something, but that wouldn't require digging down the entire thing to find out what happened.
No.
You would just take the parts that were available and use those how you want in the story,
so that was kind
of not track down the judge.
That was kind of number one. And yeah, you're trying to force her into that because apparently that's the reason why she hired the detective, was to chase all these leads down.
Which would also be so expensive.
Yeah, but again, my argument is I think Jessica Fletcher would have done it herself. I don't think she would have hired this detective.
None of that portion of the story follows.
So that's what I mean.
Jessica is the type to dig into herself, and also she hasn't ever done true crime.
Yes. So that's what I mean. It's kind of why I feel that maybe there was a script about this hard-boiled PI and Jessica Fletcher was never in it. And then they decided, oh no, we can make a Murder, She Wrote episode out of this, but we've got to force her in somehow. The fact that she would get involved because she felt guilty that possibly she got somebody killed for asking them to look into something does track for Jessica Fletcher.
Yes, right? That absolutely tracks.
I believe that 100%, but the reasons why she would have hired him and for what does not track with what we know about Jessica Fletcher, what she does and what she writes and how she acts.
Yeah.
Right? So it felt very weak. And then that whole story, like we've both said, was finished off so abruptly and weakly that it didn't add anything to the plot.
I could accept the ending. I could accept that there was a whole extra thing going on, but the way it was, this is not good story writing.
No,
this is not good television writing.
It wasn't. And the fact that the judge happens to be outside because he's gone looking for Jessica Fletcher, the hotel clerk has said she's gone to Vermont, and so he decides to drive down there and wait outside. The whole thing was just convenience.
And why was he trying to find, like, why did he go to her hotel? I could see if he heard that she was going to, was it Vermont? And
Vermont,
he knew
yeah.
that was about his case, I could see him wanting to go, but
I don't
why would he
know.
ask about her in the first place?
Maybe he'd gone to the hotel because he was going to confess anyway. You definitely weren't given that vibe
No.
when he's at the car, but that's the only thing that really makes sense. Or whether he was going to go and threaten her again because he'd already done the whole libel stance, which was interesting. I don't know. But yeah, it felt unnecessary. It was purely there just to get Jessica Fletcher in the door in a way that didn't really track. Right?
Yeah,
Because again, I wonder if they said, what if we made Miles, the one who got murdered? Was he Miles?
yes.
What if we made him Jessica Fletcher's nephew? Right? That would have made more sense. That would have tracked more for bloody Jessica Fletcher than this weird thing that they did.
Yeah, and he could still be a PI.
Yeah.
Or
yeah. And I believe Jessica Fletcher would investigate the murder of her nephew who was murdered as a PI.
And they wouldn't even have to make it a nephew to allow him to be older. They could have it as a widower or a step widower. So
yeah,
her sister passed, and this is the guy she was with before. That would work. That would track.
You know, but yeah, adding in. I mean, the cases were clearly there because honestly, for the murderer, they don't really throw him in as a suspect until right at the last minute.
Yeah.
They throw him in as a character, and I was suspicious of him as a character for a while, but that's just because of how he was introduced and how he was largely ignored. And one of the big tropes to look out for in a series like this is if somebody just kind of appears and is then ignored, they're probably more important
than they're letting on.
Than they're letting on because they want it to be a big reveal at the end.
The big reveal sucked.
Oh, what do you mean? I would have confessed just because there were 2 sound recordings of someone jingling keys.
Right. That it would be enough for Jessica to get it, but nowhere because she would know it has to be someone who has keys. Just
yes, someone who has keys. That's a lot of okay. You're cutting down the suspect pool because they have to have keys to that office, right? But that still
is not a jury.
There's still 2 of them who were there at the time. McGraw was possibly somewhere else, but
I think he was supposed to be in Oklahoma, which
he's meant to be working on a different case, but that was never shown to us or proven to us. So for all we know, he could have been there, and that was his made up alibi, right? Yeah, right. So again, this is even Miles is meant to be I think he's meant to be an ex-cop, just like the other 2 were. He would have known that was a very flimsy thing, right? And the only thing that tips it over the edge, but again, it tracks because he decided to murder Miles for the most stupid of reasons, is that he's like, oh, I'm going to have to kill Jessica Fletcher now. Whereas if he hadn't pulled out the gun and just laughed and walked away, he'd be a free man. It was stupid. But I think that's the thing with this whole episode is that it was stupid.
And I wanted to like McGraw. I don't know. I kind of enjoy that vibe. No.
I think, and again, I think for a character like McGraw, you have to let him grow incredibly slowly, right? I can see, like, if he's got a whole season, right, you're going to hate him at first, but then you find out he's got a heart of gold, right?
And you can even start revealing the heart of gold, but make his walls, super thick to where you get the glimpses of it.
Yeah.
But it's going to take work to
exactly. Like there are lots of people, lots of shows like that who have detectives like that as their main character, right?
Yeah.
Grouchy, clever, violent, but with a heart of gold, right? But and again with the flip flopping between how he was reacting. The fact that he was so convinced it was the builder guy for no real reason, I didn't really understand. Oh, no. That's because Miles pretended that the builder guy had shot him. Sorry, I'd forgotten that.
That's right.
I'd forgotten that a
And
little
it
bit.
was a husband murdering an investigator to keep an affair from being revealed does track for emotionally motivated murder.
It does, but again, I was with Jessica Fletcher straight away when he said about the murder.
Oh,
Which
the
is
punching him out? Yeah.
how does someone shoot through the windscreen twice, hit the driver's seat, which is technically where he should have been sitting,
Mm-hmm.
and not kill the guy?
He mentions that he saw the gun and ducked.
Doesn't matter.
That they saw the guy raise
If
it
you're
up.
shooting this guy and you know you've missed, you walk round to the driver's door and you shoot him where he's ducked.
And even if this was in the middle of Ray Kravitz driving at this supposed shooter, you're then just going to unload at that
Yes.
general area.
Yes.
Because obviously you can see in from your glaringly bright lights.
Yes.
But I actually think the other argument that Jessica gave on, hey, McGraw went to confront him and they roughed him up, but they didn't even rough him up that bad. He got one good solid punch. Why would they only go that far to protect the protecting the affair and kill the other person? Now, that did track.
And it was I think this episode was stupid, but not in a fun way. I think was my main problem. And this they had 3 cases, and I don't think any of them really tracked. And then the answer to it was actually this 4th case, which we didn't really know that was going on, which was involved with one of the 3rd cases. And and I don't think a single one of the people who wasn't Jessica Fletcher was particularly likable.
I didn't find Priscilla properly disagreeable, but nothing.
I liked the initial scene with Jessica Fletcher and her when they're talking about what she's going to do in the magazine. I did enjoy that. I enjoyed Jessica Fletcher's. Clearly, Jessica Fletcher is not a feminist. She's not a girl power. She's not a girl power kind of girl.
Which is interesting given how much of a feminist she actually is based on all of her behavior.
Yes, but I think that's the point. I think that's what you were arguing, like what she's probably arguing about is, and there's feminism and then there's being for women, if that makes sense. And I think, okay, we never saw this magazine. We don't really know the kind of things they were printing, but this looked like feminism. And Jessica Fletcher was, I can't remember the article that she said she wanted to write, but Jessica Fletcher's, I'm going to write one about my dead husband.
Yeah.
I thought it was just brilliant.
I will say the scene following that, where McGraw's in a disguise, did amuse me greatly.
I mean, you say a disguise. He was wearing a hat.
And sunglasses.
But yes, that was funny. And again, that was one of the weird things with the McGraw character, is that the thing didn't make sense. The fact that, is he this kind of madcap, wear disguise, do accents, have a little fun with his work, or is he this hard-boiled, take justice into my own hand kind of thing, right?
Also, why would the secretary let him back if he doesn't even have business cards?
Because he said he was rich. That would
probably
that'd probably still happen today.
Mm.
Honestly, if you're good enough at it. If you say to someone, I can get, I've got 300 million, I think he said something like 300 million's worth of advertising to give you, they'll take the risk.
I know he said 7 figures at some point.
You'll take the risk. Why not? It's 10 minutes of your time if it turns out to be a lie. But
I think today it would start with an email of one low-level person in one company reaching out to some low-level person in another saying, hey...
Yeah, but that's today. In this day and age, and you're meant to believe that this I think you're pretending to be an oil baron. I honestly can't remember. But I think you're meant to believe that this is the kind of person who would do business himself. and would just turn up. Why he would go to a feminist magazine?
Because he made underwear.
Oh, is that what he did? Okay.
But with that fucking look. What?
But yes.
Some Texas dude making underwear, walking around looking like that does not make sense. Because he adopted the oil baron persona.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay. But yeah.
How did you feel about the interaction with Miss Cargill, the daughter of the murdered guy? Or the third case?
Oh, okay. It was just such a throwaway moment.
It was annoying.
And I didn't understand the extreme reaction.
And why would that be her reaction if they're dead?
Yeah,
I could see not wanting to talk about him, but you could say that's my mother.
I couldn't decide if the reaction was because they were just recently dead and it was just meant to be grief, which I can kind of understand. Or if it was meant to be she knew the story and didn't want Jessica Fletcher to find it out.
Yeah, but on the flip side, they're dead now. So even if Jessica does find the story, it basically goes nowhere.
Well, that's not true, is it? I mean, it would put a stain on their name, put a stain on her dad's name that it wasn't there. And I would argue there could be implications to that.
I would argue that the worst that could happen in that case is if it was found out that Tom was the killer.
Yeah.
That Jessica would write a book about it, and that'd be the biggest way to completely stain their. But she's working as a receptionist.
But then
dead black man committed a crime. I don't think gets headlines, especially then because they were already.
No, I think it probably would have done because the original case was a headline case. So I think probably a miscarriage of justice, because remember there has been a miscarriage of justice because someone else went down.
Yes.
No, they got off, didn't they? But
yes,
whoever got off, that I do believe somebody could have turned that into a news story. But I was going more for her reaction once the other guy comes out to explain what just happened to you. Which I found really annoying, that the boss comes out and just tells the whole fucking thing to this stranger.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how pissed off would I be? I clearly don't want to speak to this woman, and my boss goes out and tells them everything. Fuck you, boss.
I will say he would come out because if she yelled loud enough, he's going to come out.
Oh, he's going to come out, but he's going to tell Jessica Fletcher to fuck off, isn't he?
She's recently experienced a loss. I apologize.
Yeah.
Go away.
Please leave. Not, oh yeah, her parents just died in a fire at the old folks' home they ran, and they died as heroes. Oh yeah, and by the way, that is the name you were looking for. Like,
yeah.
But yes.
He could never work in a hospital. He would break all the HIPAA laws.
Oh, good God, yeah. But no, and then that is followed, that convenient bit there is then followed by the incredibly convenient, the judge was just standing outside the door, right? That whole case was wrapped up in about 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Right?
It might have been shorter than that.
It may have been shorter than that. But
and again, I believe the judge would potentially go to confront her if he learned she was there. But why on God's green earth would he bother? Why would he know? Why would he care?
I also don't know why the judge would tell her. Honestly. He's got the most to lose because he is the one who committed a crime.
Right.
Right? Because he was the one who made sure that I can't remember.
And he is now a judge, which means he could be impeached.
Yeah. So he's the one who's got the most to lose. So I don't know why he would have told them told her what happened. Honestly,
the only reason, if he was to check out her books, he would learn that she's a great murder mystery writer.
Yeah.
But again, none of her previous books have been true crime books.
True crime, yeah.
So
She's never gone for the big exposés or like the big news, so I don't know why you'd be worried about it. And then, what was I going to say? I don't know. It's too warm.
Probably something useful.
I doubt it.
Oh.
I haven't said something useful since 1981. And I wasn't born till 83.
That's what I was going to. Before you were even a glimmer in your father's nutsack.
Oh dear. But yes, so that whole case annoyed me. That whole wrapping it up annoyed me. It was stupid. You then get
that case was stupid from the beginning to the end.
You then get, I think, possibly the best scene, which is you get this. I honestly don't know where they were meant to be for this entire episode, but what came across to me is a kind of very New York builder guy. Typical kind of, not quite mafia, but you're clearly meant to get the idea that he's a little bit shady, a little bit dodgy. He's already had his crew. His crew all drove very nice cars, by the way, for a crew of just general builders. But he's already had his crew of builders beat up a guy because he was being followed. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is, they were clearly trying to layer on the fact that, but yeah. Sorry.
Boston. And I do remember them actually saying that in the episode. It was Boston.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So when he comes in, because again, it's meant to be that he's meant to have an affair, even though this guy, the murderer has been trailing him for God knows how long and has found no evidence of that. And McGraw had clearly found no evidence of that. There was no evidence that he was sneaking around. How a PI doesn't manage to track him to the boat he's apparently been working on for the past God knows how many weeks, I do not understand.
No.
Right? Surely you can trace, you may not understand why they're working on the boat, but you can find them on the fucking boat.
Well, you wouldn't even have to properly follow them. You could just basically tail them for a short stint and then peel off the next night, tail them, start tailing them from where you dropped off last night and tail them for a little bit.
But even for the first one, why would the guy, the suspect, why would he be paranoid and looking to see if he's being followed if he was just going to do up a boat?
Good point.
Right? I can understand you might be like that if you're going to go and have an affair.
Well, and you could, if you kept seeing the same car behind you, you would get concerned. But why would you be concerned the first time?
But why are you
the first time you would have just driven to the boat.
Driven to the boat.
And then that would be the story.
They just drive past and you found out he's working on a boat. Because it turns out he's an incredible romantic, which I thought was a brilliant twist.
Yes. that was lovely. The only reason I could think that he knew he was being tailed the first time would be if they were following too close, and it actually seemed like when McGraw tails him, he's tailing them way too close.
Okay, maybe. But then I don't know if you're meant to believe I don't believe you're meant to know if McGraw is a good PI. Honestly.
It's a good question.
But yeah,
I feel like that's what they slated him to be from the top of the episode.
They did, but he never found out anything useful. It all came from Jessica Fletcher, and he goes off ready to kill this guy. And the only reason he doesn't kill the guy is because the builder clearly got the better of him.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, is he a good private investigator?
No.
And then the other thing, one of the characters we haven't talked about who was in it briefly is the police captain, I assume he was meant to be, or chief of detectives or something.
Yeah.
I enjoyed him for the brief moments he was in, but and I like we're just going to sit back and not get in Harry's way, because again, there's this this idea that if you've murdered a cop or even an ex-cop, no trial for you.
I mean, that does track in the US.
It does track, but my God.
with Boston, that's even like the only place where that might be even more so would be New York.
Yeah.
And the public would just look the other way.
So yeah, and and like I said, I didn't like that, and I'm assuming they because again they're probably trying to save the character of Harry, which is why he didn't kill the guy wrongly.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. None of the stories, they got 3 stories. None of them work particularly well.
The boat works, and being hired as a PI for it, but everything after that, you're a dumbass.
And then when you mix them all together, I find they really don't work.
No, it just looked clustered and confused.
Yeah, it was. I did not think it was a very good episode at all. And yeah, then suddenly there's this very tired PI is blackmailing someone.
Yeah, and do we really think Harry was enamored enough with Jessica and her investigative work that he would want to hire her? I honestly don't think so.
No, I don't believe so, and I don't believe he would have done the 120-mile drive or whatever it was,
right?
To take her back. No, I do not believe that. I do not believe his attitude would have changed. I mean, maybe because
not enough.
She has saved him from killing an innocent man. I wouldn't even think you could look at it, but
the only way I could look at it is him being grateful for finding Archie's killer and realizing it was someone else that was close to him.
Yes,
but
But no, I do not believe he would want to hire. I could understand his respect for Jessica Fletcher had grown 100%. And I could understand if they were to bring him back, that he would, if he's really lost on a case and it's quite a complicated case, that he would seek Jessica Fletcher out for help. But even if he was doing it willingly, he probably wouldn't act like he was doing it willingly.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because that is the kind of character. Yeah, that just wasn't his vibe 90% of the time. But then the other 10% of the time, that kind of was his vibe, and it didn't really make a lot of sense.
Not in the slightest. Though it looks like it'll be quite a while before we see him again. Hopefully they do better, because it's not going to be until about the same distance into season 2.
Okay.
Almost the exact... No, one episode actually later in season 2. So they need to work on him, because he's just not...
They do need to work on him, and... I mean, I guess we could argue we're still at the Murder, She Wrote experimenting stage.
I actually want to dial back to the early conversation that they were trying to create a show for him, and then they realized they didn't actually have the character nailed down. They didn't know who he was.
Yeah.
So they put it back on the fire and gave it some time to cook better. Because, again, there's no way even the writers thought he came out looking consistent, good, and ready for his own show.
No, and I honestly don't understand why because I would argue that there have been better detectives that Jessica Fletcher has worked with.
Yes.
That I would try and spin off onto their own show, right? And I can't imagine, although obviously I can't give any evidence of this, I can't really imagine that this episode came out and everybody was like, oh, that Harry McGraw was really good.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So
the Nelson ratings would have been atrocious.
I'm kind of intrigued as to why they thought he was the one to bring back.
Maybe he was the only actor willing to come back.
I don't know.
Given some of the previous writing.
Maybe, but yeah, it definitely is not the worst episode we've watched.
No, I do actually think, even for he was less on screen in the previous episode, the investigator in Paint Me a Murder. Like, I wouldn't like his show if he was to have one, but it'd be so much better, leagues and bounds better than McGraw. Let's
Yeah,
see.
I believe so. And I'd also would much prefer him to come back into Murder,
Yeah.
She Wrote, and they do another case together, than McGraw. But maybe it's just a generational thing. Maybe the character of Harry really was what people wanted to see on the TV at the time. You know,
So I could see them wanting that noir, hard-boiled detective, but he didn't portray that well.
No, he did not portray that well.
He did
No.
a shite job.
I agree with that 100%. And yeah, and again, because the English detective does come across as a fairly good detective, right?
Mm-hmm.
His respect for Jessica Fletcher just was not good enough at the beginning, for him to kind of keep up, I guess. Whereas McGraw does not come across as a good PI at all.
No.
You know,
I mean, I guess that would be the primary reason to. Well, that still doesn't argue for the show. I was going to say for him to want to hire us because he knows he's shit.
Oh no, yeah. I mean but I don't believe he is the kind of person who would admit that he was shit.
Exactly.
That's the problem. I don't think he would have admitted that he would have had this gap. I think if anything,
No,
the
not even
respect
to
for Jessica
himself.
Fletcher, no, for the respect for Jessica Fletcher would have made him more distant
Yeah.
until he was desperate.
Yeah.
Then I believe he would have surfaced and said to Jessica, I don't need your help, but could, if you want to help me, that would be great, kind of attitude.
And they kind of gave that, but it sucked so much. It was so ham-fisted. It wasn't ham-fisted. It was just shit.
It was just shit. It was just hammered down your throat. And I keep on saying this.
Immediately after that, he's a dick again.
Yeah. Yes. I keep on saying this. I really, really hope at some point that they find their groove.
Yes.
Because they have not found it yet.
Not even slightly.
Paint by Numbers is not what that episode was called. I think it was called Paint Me a Murder.
I said that?
Was
I thought?
You did say that, yeah. It had its issues, and it definitely had some story deficiencies, but I think it was a far more enjoyable episode as a whole. There was a case, there were suspects, there was a solid reason. And it did.
You mean Paint Me a Murder?
Yeah, Paint Me a Murder. It did all
compared to this one.
It did all kind of come together, even if there were deficiencies, and there were deficiencies.
Yeah, the three guys or the three people companioning together at the beginning of the episode, chatting about him, was the weakest part. But from there, it just gets better.
It does. And then the reveal when they're all ganging up on them, which is hilarious, was fantastic.
Profoundly unbelievable.
Yes.
Just hilarious to watch happen.
100%. But again, kind of, apart from the fact they would have had to rehearse it and all that kind of stuff, I could understand why Jessica Fletcher would want to do that, because she would know she had nothing. Mm-hmm. So to break him, she would have had to put on this big act.
Pressure.
Right? So you can kind of argue it like that, but the actual logistics of getting that together are just stupid to imagine. I would love to have seen the real life rehearsals of that.
Well, and I've played in a play as an adult.
Yeah.
It takes time to get not only the timing right, your lines right.
Yeah.
That's weeks of work.
Yeah.
To
Right. It's just that was just brilliant. Whereas this one, like I say, the whole I've got two tapes and I hear some jangling keys. Oh, I'm gonna have to kill you then. Was just stupid. The blackmail. I mean, I guess the blackmail reason for the time would have been stronger. For me, the blackmail reason just seemed stupid, but I have to consider the time this was made. So
I still think it's stupid for the time.
I can kind of understand it. The reason she got onto the blackmail thing by finding a loose piece of ripped paper in a file,
oh my god,
was fucking hilarious.
I still didn't process how that was supposed to be relevant.
It didn't even have.
Oh, it was.
It's because something had been ripped out of the file. She didn't know what.
And the thing that was ripped out, so it was Archie's files on her, and the file that got ripped out was the one about the abortion.
Was the one about the? Well, it was the one about the woman.
It was about Priscilla's abortion.
Yes, the piece of paper was about the abortion, but Jessica Fletcher would have had no reason to know that because all she had was a tiny bit of paper. Like, it didn't even have like a hospital name. Like, it had nothing on it. It was literally just a tiny little corner of paper which said something had been ripped out.
Well,
right?
And I could, like, I've scribbled on things while doing things,
Yeah.
and just ripped the page out later because I didn't actually need it.
Yes, this was going to be my point. What if it's just something that he'd put in that file and he realized it was rubbish and so he'd ripped it out?
Yeah.
Right?
Or he spilled some, coffee on it and needed to reprint it.
Right. It was to me that being a clue was kind of funny.
It made no sense. It's so weak. It didn't hold up even slightly.
No. I mean, apart from the threat that, if he doesn't go to jail, Harry's going to kill him, there is no reason why that guy ends up in jail.
Right.
After this.
No, but I could
whatsoever.
As much as Harry was just all over the place, that was his one consistent was, I will murder whoever did this.
Yes.
And I could see him saying, because with Jessica there, he's not going to do it because Jessica's going to basically snitch on him and make it a problem, and she wouldn't allow for that true miscarriage of justice.
Yeah.
But I could see him being genuinely afraid that the day he gets out, McGraw's right there.
But
or not the day he gets out, the day the day of the acquittal would be.
Yes. If he didn't end up in prison, if he goes to prison and serves his time, then that'll be okay. But
right,
yeah.
Well, and he's also old enough that he, with a premeditated murder and attempted murder, he's going away for a long time because it's the U.S. and we hate. Well, never mind. I'm not going to actually dig on that.
And then but again, I said just because it's based on jangly keys. Which essentially means that any dad who's ever played with their kid with jangly keys was a suspect. Was just dumb. Was just absolutely fucking dumb. Like, I just.
That's immediately what I was picturing during the jangling keys.
You get daddy's keys.
And this has had to be a trope since at least the 40s. Kids love jangly, shiny things.
Oh dear. But yes, it was it was a dumb episode. None of the stories felt particularly good. I honestly think you didn't need the other three. I think you could have done just the blackmail with the feminist magazine, and I think you could have turned that into enough of a case. Why Jessica Fletcher would have been involved, I think, would have been the hardest part.
I still think it being like a brother-in-law widower, I do think would actually kind of work.
Yeah.
We don't actually have to have the direct family members, because you do want that step away of distance.
Or just
the niece or the nephew.
Just do the classic Jessica Fletcher thing. She just happens to be there for some other reason, right? And he gets murdered while she's in the town. They've done that before. I'm sure they'll do that again.
If she was in town, though, what would her reason be to care about a murdered PI?
Well, then maybe she'd gone to town to see the PI for something. Could have been about anything. Like, if she was going to write a story about
they could have been old friends.
Could have been old friends. She could have been wanting to write a story about a PI, and he'd agreed to be interviewed, right? For a fictional PI, like that could have worked.
And that would make a whole lot more sense than a true crime novel.
Yes, a whole lot more sense than a true crime novel. Yeah. There are many reasons. There are many reasons to get her into that room that aren't this weird. Why would Jessica Fletcher want to write this book in the first place?
I'm so scared because the writers here are the writers for all the seasons, and what made you think this was a complete script or made sense? Like, I have never been involved in any creative work on creating a production, and I'm capable of finding better lines and ways of dealing with things than what they keep doing.
I know you say it's always the same writers, but that's probably not true in actuality. like I said, my guess is that this was a script that the studio already had, just hanging around. The Murder, She Wrote team needed an episode. They saw this script. They forced Jessica Fletcher into it. That is my guess. It's kind of like with Die Hard and A Vengeance, where they just shoved Bruce Willis into it.
Is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
Yes. As is the first Lethal Weapon.
It's been too long since I've watched that to remember.
Because, yeah, I don't really understand the argument that it's not a Christmas movie. Like, do you need two things to be a Christmas movie? Does it have to be set around Christmas and be about Christmas?
Yes.
In which case, Home Alone is not a Christmas movie.
Yeah, because while he does interact with Christmas-related things...
It's Christmas. It's got nothing to do with Christmas.
Well, and it being Christmas is kind of the whole reason Die Hard actually happened. It's why they're all gathered there. It's why they're having alcohol, and it's not just a business day. And they'd all be available to be taken captive.
But the other one is, can I do a Christmas movie, but it's based in July, but it's about Christmas?
If you go to Australia, yes.
No, they still have Christmas on Christmas Day. They just have it just happens to be summer when they have Christmas.
There's a reason there's Christmas in July. It's because when people were first going there, it was wintertime. It felt like Christmas time.
Yes,
so there is actually some validity to quote unquote Christmas in July, but they obviously these days they've grown up with Christmas being in the summer, so
But yeah, no, like if I just decide to make let's say I make a film, it's in July, but I'm trying to find the perfect Christmas present. Is that then a Christmas movie? Or do I have to be finding the perfect Christmas present on Christmas Eve for it to be a Christmas movie?
Counterpoint.
Yeah.
Why are you trying to find the perfect Christmas present in July?
Well, why not?
What would add urgency to that? Actually, you could be buying something before it sells out.
Could be buying something before it sells out. I could be going to the moon for 7 months. I won't be back. Maybe I'm dying.
Going to the military.
There are many reasons that I could be looking for this perfect Christmas present in July.
Anything that's a deadline for you works.
Yeah, But no, I think to me, a Christmas movie it just happens around Christmas, right? I don't think it really matters what happens around Christmas.
I think your example also would make it a Christmas movie. So I'd say either kind of work. It doesn't have to be on Christmas Day.
I disagree.
Christmas has to
disagree. If you're looking for a Christmas present in July, I think it's a summer movie. I don't think it's a Christmas movie.
I mean, you wouldn't have any of the Christmas decor that is kind of vital to a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Any of the, jingling bells, hot cocoa.
Yeah.
Candy canes. So yeah, no, I think okay.
You know what I mean?
I take it back. I take it back.
I guess what are the rules for a Christmas movie? If it has to be both, if it has to be it's set at Christmas and it's about Christmas, I would argue Die Hard is about both.
It is absolutely central to it is as central to the plot as it is for Home Alone, and people will die on the hill.
Yes, Home Alone definitely a Christmas movie. Yeah, or it's not Santa Claus. Okay, that's a Christmas movie.
Santa Paws, even with the puppies.
With the puppies, yeah. All of the bullshit Christmas movies on Hallmark, they're Christmas movies.
Those are slop. At best, those are slop.
What are you on about?
You can recreate most of those. Like, most of them are cookie cutters. Have you ever seen pictures of all the actresses from those Hallmark movies lined up?
Have you?
They're the same woman.
There is a comedian on YouTube. He's like an engineer. And he backward engineered Hallmark movies. and he does it's basically like a
He
random.
draws things, doesn't he?
He does. I don't know. He draws. It's more like computer based. I think on this one he does like a random spin of the 3 important things that you have to have in every Hallmark movie. And yeah,
I think I know who you're talking about.
he gets them every time. It's absolutely hilarious because yes, there is not much to a Hallmark Christmas movie. There's going to be
Big
a
city,
woman.
small town.
There's going to be she's either coming back to a small town or there's a big boss. But yes, they are trash. They are trash. How did we get onto Christmas movies? We're meant to be talking about Murder, She Wrote.
I have no earthly idea.
We're talking about Christmas movies.
When you go back through this, please let me know how we got to it, because I have no idea.
I blame the heat.
I mean, we were right the whole time, but
I blame the heat.
I cannot.
But yes,
it's a lovely, comfortable 21 degrees Celsius in here. Maybe 20 Celsius.
It's about. Well, the temperature's definitely gone down.
I will say, I have had to spend it. It was last summer, but I have a separate heating unit besides the central AC because it just cannot keep up in the heat of the day.
Gotcha. But
and that's in an apartment where I have someone beneath me, and on either side, I only have 3 of the normal 6 walls exposed to the elements.
Yep.
Still too hot.
But to circle back to Murder, She Wrote.
Yeah, but I don't remember what point we were on or what point to make now.
I haven't got a clue. It wasn't a good episode. I'm glad I didn't have to watch it more than once.
I've got to start watching these ahead of time to figure out which ones I can force you to watch multiple times.
No. And then
was the scenes with Jessica, I'm just scrubbing through the episode, the wife of Archie Miles, did those scenes just feel unnecessary, profoundly weak?
100%. I'd actually forgotten about them.
Exactly. I wasn't until I was scrubbing.
And again, I don't know if it's because they were trying to make you think that Miles was guilty of something and that the wife knew, because that first interaction where she just shouts at Jessica Fletcher and walks in the door, again, you could argue was grief.
Right.
It's like the secretary, the receptionist reaction all over again, right?
So this one's a little different though, because he's only got 3 cases. She knows Jessica Fletcher's name, which means that she's been a difficult case. She has annoyed him to hell and back, and it's a very publicized old story. In the first scene, it's grief plus this could be your fault, which I kind of get. But
maybe, yeah. But then
why even have the scene?
But then in the next scene with her, which case is quite far on in the episode, but she's all friendly, happy. Here's the clue that you need so you can go to Vermont and upset a receptionist.
And the only argument they give for her now being nice is Jessica's helping move things, but I think Jessica would be more busy investigating than... Like, she would care about the wife. She would care about the wife's well-being.
But yeah,
there are too many open questions right now.
I said, I'd completely forgotten about the wife as a character.
Yeah.
Those 2 scenes had completely escaped my mind. Yeah, I didn't like this episode. I didn't. It was watchable, which some of them have bordered on non-watchable.
I think it was the 3rd episode that both of us blocked out.
This was at least watchable, but the story didn't make sense. The characters didn't make sense. The resolution didn't make a lot of sense.
But Priscilla's outfit was on point for the era. I think they nailed her character's appearance.
I think they nailed her character fairly well, to be honest. But
100% score on the presentation, 90 to 95 on the character.
But
I don't give her a full 100.
Which is why I think it's a shame that they she wasn't used more. I guess, but yeah, I don't know what else to say about this episode.
Also, is it just me, or did he not take enough damage when he's beaten up by the construction worker. Honestly, I would kind of expect to see him with a broken arm.
Okay, so I think he just ended up with a black eye,
On the first one.
if I remember correctly.
The second one, he's got a cut on his above his eyebrow. But that's really the only major increase in
The second
damage
one
that
is
he's
when the
experienced.
boss has beaten him, right?
No, that's still just the construction worker, but that's where they take. That's where the construction worker brings him to the police, and he drags him out of the car. That doesn't line up with his injuries in the slightest.
Yeah, that.
Do you not remember the?
No, the one where they end up in the police is the one where the guy himself has beaten McGraw up.
Yeah, he's only beaten up twice though.
Yeah, but the first one is the construction workers where he follows the guy into an alley and he's ambushed by all the cars.
Is the boat building guy not a construction worker? I thought he was.
Yeah, he is
And
the
that it was
construction
his
worker.
buddies.
Yeah. But the first time he's beaten up is when he's following the boat builder guy into an alley.
Mm-hmm.
The builders ambush him with all the very nice cars for builders, and the scene is they kick the shit out of him, right?
For that one, it's actually just a punch to the face and then cut away.
There's three guys. He's in a dark alley. They're gonna kick the shit out of him.
So it's implied in that scene that one punch knocks him out, and that they think that's sent enough of a message. The second time is where I think they would kick the shit out of him, and he would be wheezing from broken ribcage bones, with a broken arm.
But the second time, I don't think it's implied that it was more than just the boss, right? It was he got into a fight with the boss. He was going to kill him, and the boss beat him in the fight.
Who's the boss?
The boat builder guy.
Yeah, that's the same one that I'm calling construction worker.
Yeah, you were saying workers, implying that it was all of them again.
I think it would be.
No, I don't think it was, because I don't think McGraw would have allowed that to happen. McGraw has ambushed this guy the second time because he's going to kill the fucker, right? But the guy gets the better of him in the fight.
We've established McGraw's incompetent.
No, I know, but I don't think it's implied that it was anyone else but the guy. I do believe there would have been more damage because McGraw would have been fighting to kill the fucker, and he wouldn't have given up that easily. So the fact that there's just, but I also, like, for the first one, I think he would have been more damaged. I think he probably would have had at least broken ribs.
I don't think he would have been able to ambush him in a way that the other guys, because he doesn't know how to tail someone and he doesn't know where the guy goes. So how is he going to get just
it's never implied that anyone else but the construction worker, the boss, is in that fight. I don't think. I think you're making that implication. I don't think the show did.
I don't think the show had to.
Yeah, I do, because it would make more sense. Understood. It would make more sense that McGraw would have tried to ambush him when he was alone, because he wanted to kill him.
McGraw's incompetent and doesn't know how to find him when he's alone.
But again, I don't think you can make that judgment based on what the show has told you. I think all you can make the judgment on is that he's tried to fight this guy one-on-one and he has lost. Now, from the character of McGraw, to make him look better, they probably should have implied that it was 5 men that it took to rip him off this guy, because he wanted to kill him. But I don't think the show did.
I've got it playing with no volume. I'm going to find that damn thing.
Because I think it's just the boss in the car who drags him out.
It is just that.
And I don't think he ever says like
he wants to charge assault.
I don't think it was like he ever said that me and the guys did this, or...
Why implicate his buddies?
Because, well, McGraw is the one who should have said it to make himself look better.
But he's shown to be incompetent enough to not even be able to get out of the car on his own. So
he wouldn't be like, he would not want to me, he would not want the captain to think that one guy managed to get the best of him in a fist fight. So I think McGraw would have said, yeah, only because your buddies jumped in, or something like that.
I've got the episode playing at double speed. I'm going to increase it further. Now it's at 3x. Though how many days is this supposed to be over? Because looking at the scene here, he still doesn't have the proper injury, but his black eye has gone away quite a bit, or is that just the lighting?
I don't think it's meant to be that many days. There's definitely, obviously, one night Jessica Fletcher stays in a hotel.
Yeah,
So there has to be the day before she goes up there, where McGraw is working on it. I don't know, 4?
Yeah,
at most.
Not many. We still don't have his injury there. And it's not wanting to let me do 10-second skips very effectively.
But yeah, I don't.
It's weird that we are far more invested in this than the rest of the episode. Or is that just me?
Because there is always black eye. He hasn't been beaten up the second time.
Here's where we get the ripped paper.
Oh no, this is when he's making his excuses. So then it's got to be after this that McGraw goes to find him. There's where you find out it was an abortion and it's blackmail. Here he is being chucked out.
How fast do you have yours going? I've put mine up to 8x, which I didn't even know was quite possible.
So yeah, he's meant to be fairly beaten up because he's pretty corpus nut.
Yeah.
Yeah, so nothing in the initial exchange.
Oh wait, is this not the scene I thought it was?
Talks about tailing union guys.
Okay, this is the scene. That is a nice car. And the front license plate does say Massachusetts, so at least they stuck to that. To me, that looks like someone who was beaten.
Yeah, but you're making that jump.
Assault charges, throws them at him.
Yeah. Also, I'm looking at the injury on the construction guy. It looks like McGraw has scratched his cheek.
Yeah. Which is... You're right, they don't say... I think the previous scene implies that...
No, I think you have made a logical step.
I know.
Which we often do when we're trying to fill in the blanks of Murder, She Wrote.
Although he does mention that he's still ecstatic about his wife, but he mentions she's hysterical. So maybe he just loves to fuck her and not actually listen to her.
But no, the reason I went the other way, and again, it's me filling in the blanks that Murder, She Wrote has not told me. We're both making logical conclusions from nothing. Is the fact that, Harry went to kill him, he would have jumped him alone.
He would have attempted to. That's my argument.
But I think he would have done. And it also kind of sounds that maybe he jumped him at this guy's house rather than at the construction site. And if that's true, there's no reason why the construction workers would have been there.
Right.
Right. And again,
that is
just a logical, a leap of faith that we're making based on what they've shown us.
I think this is far enough back that it would have been a single income household, no?
Yeah, I would have thought so, yeah.
So his wife would have been home.
Yeah, I think his wife was home, yeah.
And he jumped this guy while the wife was there that had hired them.
Yes.
I guess he doesn't care that the wife's there because he's going to murder him.
I don't think we're made aware that McGraw even knew it was the wife who hired Miles. It is the construction worker who tells us that it was the wife. Well, I don't know. It was to look for an affair, so I guess, okay. Maybe they did tell us it was the wife who hired them, maybe.
No, they...
But again,
And none of the notes on Archie's case, the notes Archie took, none of these notes would have been destroyed and hidden or
yes,
tucked away.
Yes, and they wouldn't have put the client under a pseudonym, which they did for the magazine.
Right.
So yeah, I guess you would have known who it was, and they all would have known who it was. But then again, I guess he wouldn't have cared shooting this guy in front of the wife.
I
don't know. The whole McGraw is just going for justice thing doesn't make a lot of sense with the whole he gets his ass kicked scene.
I will say they could have done a better job if his last name was instead Dredd.
But again, if you're Harry, are you not just going to shoot this guy?
Yeah, why do you leave it to the opportunity of getting into a fist fight?
Why are you just going to scratch his face and then get your ass kicked? Which, based on the evidence of the fight that we've seen, that's all that happened.
And this is a construction worker that does, physical labor during the day. Yeah. Why are you going to try and fist fight him when you don't do any? Yes, you're a private eye. Yes, you're going to be at least somewhat fit, but you are not going to take a construction worker on and win.
No, not a chance.
So McGraw's just stupid.
McGraw, yeah, I think McGraw is just stupid. Because again, he goes off half-cocked anyway, because, I guess your friend has... No, because the friend just said somebody has tried to shoot at me. I couldn't tell you who it was. It just happened that I was outside the construction site at the time. So you've gone off on no evidence, really, to the conclusion that he's definitely been murdered by the construction guy to hide the affair, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's ready to go murder, but then he's apparently really incompetent at murder that he just scratches somebody in the face and thinks that's how you murder someone. I assume. Maybe Harry McGraw is a cat. I don't know, right? Maybe he's a cat and he thought I scratch him in the face and I win. That's not what happened, and he get his ass kicked.
Kitty has claws.
Exactly. I don't know. But that's the whole problem with this particular episode, is that I honestly just don't think you're told enough. And then everything that is wrapped, like even the judge telling Jessica Fletcher what happened, you don't see the judge telling Jessica Fletcher. You see Jessica Fletcher wrapping up the wrap up to McGraw.
Yep.
Which is just weird.
Why is it so often in these episodes where like they wasted time here that they should have used expanding that, or they tried to fit too much into one episode and it just doesn't work. I
think this is the problem. Like I said, I just do not think they found their groove. And
no.
You can moan against procedural TV all you like, right? But the thing about procedural TV is that it works.
Uh-huh.
Right? It's comforting. You know what's going to happen. You know that A is going to lead to B is going to lead to C, and then they're probably going to go back to A. Right? That's how most procedural crime shows go.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess this is in it. Well, I don't know. When was Magnum PI? Was that procedural? I honestly can't remember.
No idea.
But, and again, it's coming from the Colombo people who did try and tell unique stories every time, but they did so over an hour and a half to 2 hours every episode. Right?
Okay, Yeah, but we still find them wasting time with things that don't matter on some episodes. And the episode where it's the older woman that dies that's not actually been murdered by any of our cases, it was just some random thief.
Yeah.
They wasted so much time in that episode on something that just didn't matter.
But I think that's because in their mind, it's a twist. Right?
It was a shitty twist.
In their mind, it's a shocking twist. Turns out this wasn't the murder we were investigating all along. Ha ha! Great, you've wasted my time, thanks.
Exactly.
But maybe when this originally came out, people were like, oh my God, what a twist. M. Night Shyamalan hadn't twisted everybody's mind with The Sixth Sense yet. Maybe we're all just jaded.
Know?
Maybe we're all just jaded now. Like, I don't know.
Did you know he was dead all along in that?
Yeah. Did you know he was Bruce Willis the whole time?
Right.
Did you know The Village was actually in modern times?
Okay, that movie disappointed the hell out of me.
I think I quite liked the one with Bruce Willis and Samuel L. Jackson.
Which one's?
Is it Unbreakable?
Yes, I actually really enjoyed that one.
And I
don't know why.
I enjoyed the sequel to Unbreakable with James McAvoy, where he plays the many different characters.
I don't think I've seen that one.
That's also very good. But I think the ones that came after, I think the ones where he was just making movies because Hollywood would let him make movies, like because I think was Signs Shyamalan as well.
Yes,
Signs was shit. The Village was awful.
Didn't he also produce the Avatar: The Last Airbender movie?
I think he directed it.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, and I hate him for it.
I have a feeling that was him.
It is.
The Last Airbender. Yeah. But yeah.
I never even watched it, but I knew how shit it was.
Did not know he was the writer on Stuart Little.
The mouse?
Yeah.
Of course, that gets into the whole question of how shitty as a child do you have to feel when people come in for an adoption and they take a fucking mouse home instead of you.
Oh, but Stuart Little was such a good film.
Oh no, it's a great film. But can you imagine that trauma?
I don't know.
Get over that trauma.
I don't know. He's a talking mouse. And in the modern generation where everything is TikTok, you're taking the fucking mouse. Because let's face it, you're probably only going to get the kid so you can make money on TikTok.
Even if you weren't going to get a kid to make money on TikTok, just the amount of actual animals that have become main characters that are basically providing their owners with money via TikTok, YouTube, what have you. A talking mouse, you corner the whole fucking market.
Yes.
This is even better than Grumpy Rabbit.
Yeah.
Or Grumpy Cat. Sorry.
But yeah, Split is the kind of sequel to Unbreakable that I was talking about with James McAvoy. Where he's got a split personality. It's very good. We are way off topic again.
Okay, it was a 16-year sequel. Oh, yeah. And there's a third one called Glass?
Oh yeah, Glass as well, yeah.
Okay, no, I remember Glass, and I think I actually quite enjoyed Glass as well, because the dichotomy and the... Yeah.
Is James McAvoy in Glass as well? I can't remember. No, that was the one with more with Samuel L. Jackson again, wasn't it? Glass.
Yes.
That was the true sequel. Yes.
Wait, did Unbreakable actually have Samuel L. Jackson in it too?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What character did he play in Unbreakable?
He was the owner of the comic book shop, I want to say.
Huh.
Because he is Glass. That was the whole point. Is because he is incredibly fragile. It's the same character he plays in Glass. But yeah.
Who's the villain in Glass then?
I'm pretty sure in Glass.
No, excuse me, Unbreakable, because he is clearly the villain.
I'm pretty sure it's Samuel L. Jackson again. But there was another one because I'm trying to remember the story of Unbreakable. But yes.
In Unbreakable, Jackson is listed as a deranged domestic terrorist.
Yeah.
So
I think he is the bad guy, but I do seem to remember him being
Then no, he is a comic book theorist, so he is involved in comics. He could own a comic store.
Yeah, I think he does own a comic book store. I think that's how.
But if he's a domestic terrorist, how do we have him back for Glass? Because if I remember any of it correctly, his crimes would have put him in jail. There was enough evidence. Or maybe I'm just thinking of Glass where he actually isn't careful enough.
Yeah, I don't think so. I have a feeling that he ends up in a mental hospital, psychiatric hospital at the end of Or is that Bruce Willis who ends up in there? I haven't watched it in a while.
I do remember the pool scene,
But no,
which was interesting.
I have a feeling that he ends up in a psychiatric hospital because he's insane.
So, is next week going to be the next episode, or is it going to be Unbreakable? Just a hard fucking pivot.
I mean, with how this episode has gone, it could be both. Let's be honest.
We could do a hard, just to confuse anyone who ever bothers. We could do the 3 films and then return to Murder, She Wrote.
We do Murder, She Wrote for 5 seconds at the start. Yeah, it was shit. These are the top 10 best Christmas movies.
Okay, one of our shortest ones was just this movie shit. Please never watch it. Or this episode.
And then I think one of our longest episodes was the one where I'd watched the wrong episode and we just took bullshit.
No, the longest I actually think was last one where we liked it.
I think the longest was last week's, yeah.
So if we like something, we'll chat a while, and if it's absolute dog water,
we'll also chat a while, but about anything else. Literally anything else. We talked about Christmas movies, and now we're on the Unbreakable franchise for some reason.
Well, because Christmas movies was Die Hard and Bruce Willis, and then I think that was the connection to Glass.
Yeah, but how did that get? How did that get? No, Twist. I understand how we got here because I mentioned the Bruce Willis twist. How did we get to Bruce Willis and Christmas movies on anything we were talking about in Murder, She Wrote?
I'm going to end up when you post this, I'm going to go check.
Right? Cause
that's a great question.
Because I honestly do not understand. Yeah, the Unbreakable one, I know how we got there. I remember the train that got us there. But the Christmas movies, I haven't got a
start
clue.
Of the Christmas movie. I think the start was me mentioning how Hallmark women look identical. But how did I get to that point?
Yeah, how did you get to that point?
That came after Die Hard.
Yeah, because Hallmark was after. Yeah, I don't know how we got on to Christmas movies.
Did I just... No, okay, so it was Australia... No, that was afterward.
I don't know how we got into the topic of Christmas. I do not understand how we got there at all. I really, I believe you posed the question, is Die Hard a Christmas movie? But I don't know why you posed that question.
Is it just because I'm a jackass? Like that would
maybe
even that doesn't cut it for me though.
But I don't know. I don't know how we got onto that. And now we're just talking about how we got onto a topic that we don't remember getting on. Like, what is this episode? We're no longer M. Night Shyamalan. We're fucking Inception. We just keep on going back into layers. This is fucking off the rails. Jesus Christ. Oh.
If only I could have a top.
God, what's this podcast about? I don't know, Stargate, I think.
Yeah, we did have that one.
Yeah, it's the Murder, She Wrote podcast, but do they talk about the episodes?
Sometimes. And if you want to hear everything they say about the episode, you are going to have to skip around the episode because there's so much other shit involved.
Oh.
We need to put the chapter markers for when we...
No, I am not doing fucking chapter markers. No, not a chance.
It's because you'd have to do too fucking many.
Well, I would have to listen to this back in real time to work out when the chapter markers were. And I'm sorry. I love the people who listen to this, but I mean, I'm not doing that.
Well, it's also, you literally know everything that's going to be said, and hearing your own voice is just not pleasant.
Yeah, and honestly, anyone who is only listening to this for Murder, She Wrote talk, probably not the podcast for you.
Because one episode we literally did not even discuss. Not even slightly.
No. I can't remember what we discussed on that episode, but it definitely wasn't
it was short.
She Wrote. And then I seem to remember... I seem to remember us doing a double episode once where we tried to catch up, and that was also a fucking mess.
I regret nothing.
We know, Knight. That's how we get onto Christmas movies, and we don't remember how.
I'm going to just go ahead and blame you, even though we both know it was 90%
That's
likely
fine.
to me.
That's fine. I'll take the blame. I honestly don't remember. I don't know how we got onto that topic. I don't know. And I don't know why we're still talking about the fact that I can't remember why we didn't get onto that topic. I think we should wrap this podcast up.
I tell my coworkers all the time, it's not about who's responsible. It's about who I'm going to pin the blame on.
Oh, but yeah.
Right,
Looping back round to Murder, She Wrote. Not a good episode. Not bad. Harry McGraw, a bit of a dick. Story was terrible.
They did do the cliche ending of Jessica's interacting with a guy who wants to spend more time with her, and
yes,
it's just
twice in this episode, because the judge is like, "You're quite a lady."
That's true, and like with the inspector last time,
yeah,
that felt good. This just no.
God, I mean, how much strange do you reckon Jessica Fletcher gets? I mean, good God.
Well, and she's got to be amazing, because between his interactions with her at the gala and how happy he was with her by the time the drive back was done, I wonder if it actually took the 3-hour drive or if it took 5 or 6 for pit stops. They needed to buy some Twinkies.
Let's not make those kind of leaps into Murder, She Wrote.
Filling.
Jessica Fletcher, very good at Roadhead.
Yeah, that was only one of them. She knows how to use a vibrator. Because Angela Lansbury
she does.
is Jessica Fletcher.
In a bathtub. She knows what she's doing.
I don't know what I'm doing.
We clearly don't know what we're doing.
That's the episode.
Yeah. I'm not even going to say the end. I'm just going to stop. It's just going to end and cut off.